Discovered, rejected bride transforms her life after billionaire's life-changing offer revealed. Amid the bright floral arrangements and expectant whispers, Sarah stood in her wedding gown, heart racing with joy. Everything was perfect until her fiancé's voice cut through the buzz like shattered glass. "I can't do this. I'm in love with someone else." The silence that followed felt like an eternity, stretching, suffocating. Friends and family gasped, the shock reverberating like a cruel joke. In that moment, Sarah didn't just face heartbreak, she faced the weight of expectations crashing down. The room was filled with pity, disbelief, and judgment, and the laughter that had lit the air moments ago turned into hushed murmurs about her perceived failure. Crushed, Sarah stumbled out of the venue, the opulence of her dream wedding now tainted with bitterness. She returned to her family home, the familiar walls suffocating in their reminder of what could have been. Shame nestled deep in her chest, mingling with questions that twisted like barbed wire in her thoughts. What had gone wrong? In a world obsessed with status, she felt invisible, just a small-town girl overshadowed by a wealthy socialite. Days blurred into nights as she wallowed in heartbreak and disappointment. Then the unexpected happened. A call from Tom, the reclusive billionaire recently moved to Willow Creek, shattered her isolation. "I've heard of your passion for the community, Sarah," he said, his voice steady and warm. "I want to launch an initiative to uplift local small businesses, and I need your help." Initially hesitant, Sarah's heart flickered to life at the thought of purpose. Was this her chance to reclaim her spirit? With renewed energy, she dove into the project, reawakening her love for education and service, spending hours with local artisans and shop owners who embodied the pure grit of Willow Creek. Yet, as she threw herself into the work, she uncovered the harsh realities of economic inequality. The initiative drew mixed reactions, especially from the affluent elite who seemed ready to dismiss her efforts. They whispered doubts about her capability, their glossy lives contrasting painfully with the struggles of her community. Sarah felt their disdain like a storm cloud hovering above. Could she really enact change? Amid this chaos, unexpected allies emerged. She bonded with the small business owners, shared meals with hardworking families, every laugh and every story igniting a shared sense of purpose. But just when the tide seemed to turn, betrayal struck from within. Someone she trusted undermined her efforts, threatening to demolish everything she had fought for. Determined to rise from the ashes, Sarah clung to her belief in justice and integrity. She was not alone. Friends and family rallied, laughter ringing out as they shared struggles and cherished moments. The weight of betrayal may have threatened to tear them apart, but instead, they grew stronger together. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue with a crucial community meeting on the horizon. Sarah found an anonymous note slipped under her door, warning her of a secret that could unravel everything she had worked for. Doubt crept into her mind, but so did determination. Would revealing the truth expose her community to turmoil, or would it empower them to unite against the odds? With her heart pounding, Sarah stood at a crossroads, contemplating her next move. The future was uncertain, charged with both hope and trepidation. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting an amber glow over Willow Creek as Sarah paced her living room, the note crumpled tightly in her hand. Each word seemed to scream at her, a warning that felt more like a threat. "Someone knows," it said ominously. "Reveal your plans, and you'll regret it." Her heart raced. Was it a ploy for power? Fear gripped her, but she shook it off like a wet dog. She had given too much of herself to back down now. This was bigger than her. It was about her community, the people she had come to care for deeply. They deserved a chance against the odds. Determined, Sarah pulled her phone from her pocket, scrolling through messages from the small business owners she had come to call friends. "Tonight we stand together," she typed, her fingers shaking slightly. Meeting at the coffee shop at 7. We need to discuss our next steps. She hit send and let out a deep breath, feeling both excited and terrified. Unbeknownst to her, those moments of vulnerability were like cracks in a dam, waiting for the right moment to break free. As evening fell, the local coffee shop buzzed with a mixture of smell and chatter, warm lights spilling through the windows. Sarah arrived early, her stomach twisting with curiosity and dread. She needed to feel their support, their strength, and to confront whatever awaited beyond the walls of the cozy cafe. One by one, her allies arrived. Jamie, the floral shop owner, with her unruly curls and bright smile. Leo, the butcher, hearty and grounded, always ready with a laugh or a quick quip. And then there was Elena, who ran the thrift shop, her voice a soothing melody amidst the chaos. Each of them was battling their own challenges but united by the dreams they nurtured for their lives and their town. "Okay, everyone," Sarah began, her voice steadying as she stood before them. "You all know about the initiative," she continued, the note still pressed to her chest. "I received some unsettling information. Someone wants to undermine us." Concern washed over their faces. Jamie's smile faded. "How bad is it?" "I don't know," Sarah replied honestly, revealing the note. "But we need to decide if we're going to fight back or let this derail us." Silence filled the room like a heavy fog. Each face bore the weight of uncertainty, but then Leo spoke up. "Look, we've fought hard for what we have. This is our home. We can't back down now." Their resolve built like a fire, each shared story, each nod, igniting a passion within Sarah. As they brainstormed ideas on how to push forward despite their fears, the initial tension melted away. They began spilling out plans, strategies, and solutions, each suggestion laced with hope. Laughter echoed, cutting through their doubts, lifting them. For the first time in days, they felt a powerful sense of unity. But just as their spirits began to soar, Sarah's phone buzzed. An urgent message from Tom flashed across the screen. "We need to talk. Now." Her stomach knotted again. Could he be behind the note? Was he truly there to support her, or was he another layer of betrayal woven into this web? With her heart pounding, she locked eyes with her friends. "I'll meet him," she said, adrenaline coursing through her. "I need to know the truth." As she walked toward the door, the air heavy with anxiety and courage, she felt like she was on the brink. What awaited her might change everything. The very foundation of her newfound strength and purpose might hang in the balance. And as she opened the door, it was only the beginning. What truths would reveal themselves in the face of the elusive billionaire? Would they unite her efforts or tear her down? The moment of truth was upon her, the flicker of uncertainty igniting her already racing heartbeat. The coffee shop door swung shut behind Sarah, the sounds of laughter and camaraderie fading into silence as she stepped into the cool evening air. Her breath came in short bursts as she navigated the dimly lit streets toward the park where Tom had asked to meet. Each step felt heavier than the last, the weight of the note still pressing against her heart like a stone. As she approached a familiar oak tree, she spotted Tom leaning casually against the trunk, his dark hair ruffled by the breeze. He looked up as she approached, his expression unreadable. Something inside her twisted. Was it relief? Or was it the familiar sense of anxiety that tugged at her heartstrings? "Sarah," he greeted her, his voice smooth, yet edged with tension. "Thanks for coming. Just tell me what's going on, Tom." Her words came out sharper than intended, fueled by uncertainty, and the lingering fear that haunted her since she received the note. He pushed himself off the tree and ran a hand through his hair. "I didn't think it would come to this. We need to talk about the initiative. Is that why you sent that cryptic message?" she challenged, squaring her shoulders. "Are you behind it?" He opened his mouth as if to protest, then closed it. The silence spoke louder than words. "Sarah, it's not what you think. I would never sabotage you or the community," he said finally, sincerity in his eyes. "But there are things at play here that you don't understand." Anger and confusion warred within her. "What do you know?" "More than you think," he replied. "There are people who don't want the initiative to succeed. Powerful people. If they think you're a threat, well, Let us just say they won't hesitate to crush anyone in their way. I don't want to see you get hurt. His words hung in the air like threats loomed over her safety. The indignation she felt was only rivaled by the strange flicker of warmth at his concern. Did he truly care, or was he simply playing a role, trying to manipulate her? I'm not afraid of them, she shot back, defiance rising in her chest. I can't back down now, not after all that I've invested. Tom stepped closer, the tension between them palpable. I understand that. But you need to know what you're up against. Someone is watching us. They know your plans. If you're not careful, it could end badly. What do you suggest we do? She asked, trying to mask the tremor in her voice with defiance. Tom hesitated. There's a way, but it's risky. You're going to have to trust me. I have resources that could help protect you and your friends. The prospect of collaborating with him sparked a reluctant hope within her. And if I refuse? Then you face this alone, without anyone to back you up. He was right. It was a hollow threat, but it rang with truth. Fear coiled tightly in her gut. Yet, the inner fire ignited by her friend's unwavering support refused to dim. Tell me what you want me to do, she said finally, her heart racing at the prospect of stepping into the unknown, grappling with his shadowed intentions. Meet me tomorrow at noon, he urged, urgency lacing his voice. There's someone I want you to meet, someone who can help. The future felt terrifyingly unwritten. She felt a swell of determination surge within her. All right, she said, her heart loud in her chest. I'll do it. As she turned to leave, a storm of thoughts swirled around her. Trusting Tom could be her downfall, or it may be the key to securing the future of Willow Creek. Suddenly a piercing scream shattered the tranquility of the night, echoing through the park. Sarah froze, heart racing, as the sound reverberated in her bones. What was that? Tom asked, eyes wide. I don't know, she replied, dread weaving into her voice. Together they rushed toward the source of the commotion, ready to confront whatever darkness awaited them. What had she stumbled into? And how far would she have to go to protect the fight she deignited? The night was still young, but the stakes had never been higher. As they dashed through the dark, the chilling echo of the scream still rang in Sarah's ears. Every instinct urged her to turn back, but the adrenaline propelled her forward. Tom stayed close beside her, his presence both a comfort and an unsettling reminder of the shadows lurking beneath their conversation. Branches cracked underfoot as they made their way deeper into the park, the moon casting ghostly shadows that danced around them. The air was thick, charged with unspoken fears. Sarah's heart thundered, each beat a reminder of the stakes involved. If someone was indeed watching, the danger felt palpable. Then, they rounded a bend, and the source of the commotion came into view. A small group of people stood gathered around something on the ground. As they broke through the branches, Sarah's stomach dropped. A girl lay sprawled on the grass, her face pale and streaked with tears. What happened? Tom shouted, rushing forward. A few heads turned, eyes filled with concern and fear. One person stepped forward, his voice trembling. She was attacked. We heard her screaming. I think someone was following her. The world around Sarah blinked into sharp focus. Panic surged within her. Was this part of the threat Tom had mentioned? The unknown people gunning for her initiative? Call an ambulance! She shouted, but her voice felt distant, echoing in the chaos of the moment. She knelt beside the girl, instinct kicking in. What's your name? She asked gently, her heart a whirlwind as she tried to assess the situation. Lucy, the girl gasped, her eyes wide with fear. I was coming from the diner. I swear someone was behind me. The crowd murmured, eyes darting to the shadows creeping in the distance. Sarah's pulse raced. She glanced at Tom, who was speaking quietly to someone else nearby, but his gaze frequently drifted back to her, concern etched across his features. Lucy, stay with me, Sarah urged, her hands shaking as she cupped the girl's face. You're going to be okay. Help is coming. Desperate to keep Lucy conscious, Sarah focused on her breathing, taking deep, steady breaths. What did the person look like? Can you remember anything? Just a shadow. I don't know. Tears spilled from Lucy's eyes. I thought it was just my imagination at first. The ambulance sirens blared in the distance, piercing through the thick air with urgency. Relief flooded over Sarah, but it was immediately replaced by a sense of dread. What if this had been meant for her? What if Lucy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Behind her, she felt Tom's presence like a weight at her back. Their eyes met briefly, and in that fleeting glance, she saw a mixture of fear and determination. They were two sides of a coin now, linked by an unintended escalation into chaos. As the paramedics arrived and quickly assessed Lucy, Sarah felt a swell of anger rise within her. They had taken this too far, whoever they were. She had been standing on the brink of a fight, one that would upend her world for the greater good. Now, that fight was personal. Tom, she whispered fiercely, determination igniting in her chest. I want to learn more. This can't be ignored. I won't let it be. Tom opened his mouth, but the words seemed to escape him. It wasn't merely a question of trust now. It was a question of survival, a determination to stand against shadows that threatened to engulf not just her, but the community she loved. As medics wheeled Lucy away, Sarah took a deep breath. She knew this was just the beginning. We'll find out who's behind this, Tom finally said, his voice low, charged with intention. Together, fueled by fury, Sarah took a step forward. But just then, a figure flickered at the edge of the park, disappearing into the darkness. She pointed, adrenaline surging once more. There! Someone's there! In an instant, the night had shifted again, twisting into a race that had just begun, keeping the past close while striding toward an uncertain but crucial future. What if the danger was closer than they had imagined? And what truths lay hidden in the darkness, waiting to be uncovered? Tom's reaction was swift. He grasped Sarah's arm, pulling her back slightly as he scanned the darkness ahead. Do you see them? He asked, voice steady but low. Not anymore, Sarah replied, trying to catch her breath. They just vanished. Fear crept up her spine like icy fingers. Whoever was out there, they were clearly not just lurking in shadow, they were part of this twisted scheme that had just taken an exhilaratingly horrific turn. Let us not lose sight of what happened here. Tom's voice was calm, but the urgency simmered just beneath the surface. Lucy needs help, and we need to get to safety. Yet, something inside Sarah resisted that instinct. What if they come back? What if they decide to target us next? Turning towards the crowd of onlookers, she caught frustrated whispers and worried murmurs, a punch of reality hitting hard in the aftermath. No one was supposed to get hurt, she muttered, her fists clenching. I wanted to make a difference, and now this tears stung her eyes. Losing sight of her mission felt like adding fuel to a growing fire of despair. Sarah, Tom's voice was softer now, like a cool breeze cutting through a heated moment. This isn't your fault. We need to gather more information, to protect ourselves and others. There's a reason this happened tonight. But she couldn't shake that feeling in the pit of her stomach. Who would attack a girl like Lucy, a stranger simply out for a late-night bite? The serious nature of the crime felt personal. The adrenaline that had once pushed her forward now threatened to swallow her whole. Tom gestured for her to follow him as they stepped away from the crowd, making their way towards a small grove of trees. We need to discuss our next move, he said. We should look for clues. Sarah nodded, the feeling of urgency settling over them. She realized there was no way she could just walk away from this. She felt empowered but simultaneously terrified. It was a strange thrill, the collision of her fear and determination, and it ignited an undeniable spark. As they quietly moved through the shadows, they resumed a cautious surveillance of their surroundings. The air was filled with the rustle of leaves, the night alive with surrounding noises. Every sound felt like a potential trigger, snapping their focus to the lurking darkness. Then, a whisper drifted through the trees, so faint that Sarah almost missed it. Help, did you hear that? Sarah stopped dead in her tracks, wild-eyed. Tom nodded, motioning her to be still. We need to be careful. It could be a trap. No, she said firmly, pushing through the dense brush. Someone could be in danger. Each step felt heavier with trepidation. She was acutely aware that the danger was not just about her anymore, it was about anyone caught in the web of this shadowy threat. Pushing aside the branches, they found the source, a small, frightened dog cowering in the underbrush, its dark fur matted and unkempt. It yelped softly, looking at them with wide, pleading eyes. Relief washed over Sarah momentarily, but blending with that was a deep question. What was it doing here alone? What else was hidden in this park of madness? Before they could react, the snapping of a twig broke the silence. Their heads whipped toward the sound. A figure loomed at the edge of the clearing, blending perfectly into the night, a menacing outline against the backdrop of a barely visible street lamp. "Who's there?" Tom called out, his voice steady but filled with uncertainty. But the figure didn't move. Instead, it simply stood there, watching, waiting as if the game had just begun. And in that heartbeat of confrontation, Sarah understood their fight was about to escalate far beyond anything she had anticipated. What secrets lay behind that figure's watchful gaze? And were they ready to face whatever darkness awaited them? The figure stepped closer, the dim light revealing sharp features and a strange, unnerving smile. It was a face Sarah didn't recognize, yet something in the back of her mind stirred an unsettling familiarity. She held her breath, her heart pounding like a drum echoing through the crisp night air. "Stay behind me, Sarah," Tom urged, instinctively moving into a guard position. The tension was palpable, and emotions ran high. Shadows danced around them as leaves rustled, creating an almost deafening backdrop of ominous whispers. "Who are you?" Tom's voice was firm, but it wavered just a bit, betraying the anxiety simmering below the surface. The figure chuckled softly, a sound that sent chills down Sarah's spine. "You can call me Victor." He stepped closer, piercing eyes locking onto them. "I'm here for you." "For us?" Sarah echoed incredulously, her voice barely a whisper. Why did it feel like this meeting was somehow planned? "Not quite. I have something you both need to hear." Victor's smile widened, a flash of something sinister lurking just beneath his words. "You're caught in a much larger narrative than you realize." "Lucy?" She was only the beginning. Suddenly, the dog whimpered quietly at Sarah's feet, cutting through the mounting tension. She knelt down, feeling the creature's trembling body against her touch, and instinctively comforted it with soft words. The warmth between them grounded her, a fragile anchor in the storm of chaos unfolding. "Why are you telling us this?" Tom demanded, his tone challenging. "What do you want with us?" Victor's gaze flickered with amusement, yet there was an underlying seriousness in the way he spoke next. "To show you the truth. To help you understand what darkness looms over your little town." He leaned in closer, and the air felt thick, as if the very night was closing in around them. The memory of Lucy, the stark horror of the attack, played on a loop in Sarah's mind. It was all connected. There was something bigger at play. "What do you mean? Why are you doing this?" She felt a surge of frustration. No one had even tried to explain anything. Because Victor paused, letting the word hang in the air like a delicate note before it shatters. "You hold the key to breaking the cycle. But first, you must confront your fears." Tom stepped forward. "What do you know about us? About why we're doing this?" A smirk crept along Victor's lips as he straightened, taking a step back into the shadows. "I know more than you think, Tom. Your mission to change things isn't as noble as you believe." And Sarah, he turned his focus on her, the intensity of his gaze penetrating deep. "You must awaken the strength you don't even know you possess." Before Sarah could formulate a response, Victor turned to retreat, disappearing without a sound into the darkness. The only trace of him left behind was that disquieting smile flashing through her memory. "What just happened?" Sarah whispered, shaking slightly. She looked at Tom, searching for understanding in his expression. "Did he mean us?" "I think he did," Tom replied slowly, his eyes narrowed as he scanned the surrounding shadows, as if expecting Victor would return any moment. "But what did he mean by the key? What are we supposed to do?" The question spilled out, layering frustration over her relief. Tom placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We find Lucy. She has to know what happened. And we need to figure out why this all began in the first place." As they turned back towards the path leading out of the grove, fear and determination swirled within Sarah. The weight of Victor's words settled heavily, igniting a flicker of resolve. They had to dive deeper into this darkness to uncover the truths hidden beneath. But as they walked away, a question raced through Sarah's mind: what if the truth was darker than they were prepared to face? The path ahead loomed uncertain and fraught with peril. Were they truly ready to confront the shadows closing in around them? As they moved through the grove, Sarah's heart raced. What did Victor mean the key? The night wrapped around them like a chilling blanket, each step heavy with unanswered questions. She tried to shake off the feeling, but it clung to her like mist. What if he was just messing with us? Tom said, breaking the silence as they stepped out of the trees. He seemed off. Like he was enjoying the mind games. Maybe, Sarah replied, but doubt gnawed at her. But there was something about his words, something real. The air tasted of damp earth. A cool breeze snuck through the streets of their small town, bringing with it a sense of urgency. They walked quickly, side by side, scanning the empty road as if Lucy might appear out of nowhere. Sarah remembered the laughter they used to share, the fun-filled days that felt like they belonged in another life altogether. "Let us stop by her house," Tom suggested, glancing at Sarah. She might be worried. Right. A shiver ran down her spine. It was just a few blocks away, yet each step felt like trudging through quicksand. The realization settled heavily inside her: whatever had happened to Lucy, whatever Victor implied, it all started here. As they approached Lucy's house, memories flooded back. Bright Sunday mornings, coffee sipped lazily in the sun, endless chatter that filled the air like music. Now, an unsettling silence loomed over the doorstep. "Should we knock?" Sarah hesitated, her stomach twisty with nerves. Tom nodded forcefully. "We need answers. She has to know something." He raised his hand and rapped on the wooden door, each knock echoing like a desperate call into the void. They waited, hearts racing. In the stillness, it felt like they were holding their breath, expectant but fearful. After what felt like an eternity, a muffled sound stirred from within. The door creaked open, revealing Lucy, her eyes wide and heavy-lidded, as if she'd been roused from deep sleep. "Sarah? Tom?" She blinked in disbelief, seeming to process the sight of them standing there, frantic and breathless. "What are you doing here?" "Lucy! We need to talk," Tom blurted out, urgency edging his voice. "It's about the attack. We saw someone." Victor," Sarah finished for him, her voice shaky. "He said you're part of something bigger. That we're supposed to confront our fears." Lucy's expression shifted. A storm brewed behind her eyes, a mix of fear and something else, something unnameable. "You shouldn't have come here," she breathed, stepping back, as if retreating from a dark truth. "Lucy, please. We're scared. We need to understand," Sarah implored, feeling the walls start to close in around them. "What he said, it's not just talk," Lucy admitted suddenly. "If he knows about you too," then she paused, biting her lip, glancing over her shoulder into the house. "We could all be in danger." "What do you mean?" Tom pressed, stepping closer, his brow furrowed with concern. "I've seen things I thought were just nightmares, but they're real, and they're connected to all of us. We have to figure this out together." Or the sound of breaking glass interrupted her, a shard of panic slicing through the air. Sarah turned, caught in a momentary freeze. Shadows shifted across the porch, dark figures lurking at the edges of the street. "Run!" Tom shouted, grabbing her arm, pulling her back towards the safety of darkness. As they fled, adrenaline surged through Sarah. With every step, she could feel the weight of Victor's words wrapped tighter around her, constricting, threatening. They had stumbled upon something far more dangerous than she'd ever anticipated. Behind them, a voice called out, chilling in its familiarity, "You can't escape your fate." What were they heading towards? The only certainty remained in that haunting echo as they sprinted away, racing to unravel the nightmare before it consumed them whole. Would they have the strength to face it together, or would the lurking shadows finally claim them? They dashed through the street, hearts pounding in unison with the frantic rhythm of their feet against the pavement. The cold air whipped around them, but panic warmed Sarah's blood, fueling her strides. Every shadow cast by the streetlights felt like a phantom reaching out, as if the darkness itself was angry, eager to catch them. "We can't keep running," Lucy gasped, her breathing staggered. "We need to hide." "Where?" Tom shot a glance down the street, his mind racing. "The old bookstore is just a block ahead. If we can make it." "No. Not there," Lucy interrupted, urgency sharpening her tone. "I know a place. Come on." With that, she veered right, dragging them both toward a narrow alley. Sarah's instincts screamed to look back, but she trusted Lucy's instincts. She had to. The alley was drenched in shadows, littered with forgotten remnants of lives, crumpled newspapers, old crates, a whisper of something once vibrant now faded into obscurity. They ducked into the recesses, the walls closing around them, and soon they pressed against the back of an abandoned building. Lucy peered cautiously around the corner. "We need to stay quiet. At least until we know they're gone." "Who are they exactly?" Tom hissed, struggling to catch his breath while still keeping an eye on the street. "Those figures, they weren't just shadows, they were— I don't know how to explain it," Lucy replied, her voice trembling. "But Victor wasn't just messing around. There's something real here, and it feels like they're coming for us." "Like they know something we don't," Sarah murmured. The fear settled in the pit of her stomach, heavy and cold, as if foreboding something dark. For a moment, she let herself cling to the hope that maybe Lucy had insight she hadn't shared yet. Lucy turned, her eyes wide. "He's a part of it. Victor. I don't know his whole story, but I do know he has powers, things that have been passed down through families. He can find people, and he can manipulate them. He thrives on fear." "Find people? What do you mean?" Tom pressed. "Is that why you didn't want us coming here? Because he might be watching?" Lucy nodded, sending a chill through Sarah. "He wants to keep us entangled in the darkness. It's like a game to him, and we're the pieces." "But why us?" Sarah whispered, her heart now racing for an entirely different reason, a mixture of dread and confusion. "Because of our connection," Lucy said quietly, glancing at each of them. "The three of us shared something special, a bond. And now, have you ever felt like you're being pulled towards something you're not sure you want?" Sarah interrupted, her own thoughts spiraling. "What if confronting our fears means something far greater than we ever realized?" Just then, a rush of feet thundered past the alley's entrance, halting them all in their breaths. Lucy pressed herself closer to the wall as they strained to hear any identifying sounds. "Run back, let us check." "Go?" "Too late," Tom hissed, eyes fixed now on the shadows staggering back. "They're searching." In the tense silence of that moment, Sarah realized just how perilous the situation had become. She felt the weight of their fears merging with the scent of damp asphalt and fading light. The chill was no longer just the night, it was real. "Can we face this together?" she bravely asked, a quiet resolve sparking amidst the dread. Just then, heavy footsteps came closer. Just like that, the unsettling sounds of their own fears transformed into haunting realities. And in that haunting moment of silence, a glow flickered ahead, cutting through the darkness. "Stay here," Tom whispered, as he stepped closer, risking it all for the unknown, and Sarah thought, as the certainty loomed around them, that the shadows were just the beginning. Would they be able to confront the darkness that had come for them, or would they become just another story, lost to the night? The glow pulsed like a heartbeat, drawing Tom forward into its warm embrace. Sarah felt her chest tighten. Could he really be heading toward danger without a plan? She opened her mouth to call out, but the words caught in her throat. It didn't matter. The urge to follow him surged like a river flooding its banks. Tom Lucy's voice was barely a whisper, strained with fear. Her hand gripped Sarah's arm tightly, anchoring her to reality even as adrenaline coursed through their veins. "We can't just leave." But her words were drowned out by the growing sound of footsteps. The dark figures moved, wavering in and out of the light, gliding like an unsettling dance of shadows. It wasn't just paranoia anymore, they were real. The gravity of their situation hit Sarah like a cold wave crashing over her, and she felt the urge to hide beneath layers of blankets far away from here. But fleeing meant leaving Tom behind. "I can't let him go alone," Sarah finally said, determination igniting her words. "Are you crazy?" Lucy shot back. "We don't know what's out there." But before Lucy could pull her back, Sarah stepped into the flickering light. She barely recognized Tom as he advanced further, his silhouette both brave and vulnerable. He scanned the area, and in that moment of pause, Sarah took a deep breath and pressed on, every instinct screaming to turn back. "Tom!" she called, her voice shaky but resolute. He turned, eyes wide with surprise. "What are you doing? Come back!" "No, we need to stick together," she insisted, glancing back at Lucy for support. Lucy hesitated, caught between fear and her friend's courage, but then she stepped forward too. "Fine, I'm not leaving you guys," Lucy sighed, though the determination in her voice flickered as if she could hardly believe what she was agreeing to. As they joined Tom, an undeniable force pulsed in the air, wrapping around them like a thick web. It felt electric, and for a heartbeat, they lingered at the boundary of the unknown. Could they turn back, or was there a path they needed to traverse? It was as if the universe was guiding them toward their fate. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, a man tall and imposing with a twisted smile that seemed to defy the light itself. "Ah, you finally decided to join the game," he said, his voice smooth yet menacing. "Who are you?" Tom demanded, his bravado trembling. "The question is not who I am, but what you're willing to lose to escape this night," the man replied, unfurling a hand as if offering them a twisted bargain. Sarah felt the air grow heavy with tension. Her heart raced as she searched for answers in the shadows of his gaze. "We're not afraid of you," she declared, trying to muster courage into her words, even as doubt clawed at her resolve. The man chuckled softly, an unsettling sound that echoed off the nearby walls. "Ah, but you misunderstand. This isn't about fear, it's about choice. What will you sacrifice to understand your ties to him?" He gestured toward Tom, and as he did, a cold wind swept through the alley. The pulse of danger throbbed in Wendy's ears, drowning her in uncertainty. What did he mean about their ties to Tom? What do you want from us?" Lucy's voice cracked, vulnerability bubbling beneath the surface. "Freedom from darkness," he said, his eyes narrowing. "But first, you must embrace it." In that moment, Sarah felt her heart drop. If they had come this far, there was no backing out. But what was freedom worth? Would they become stronger together, or would they tear each other apart? And as the shadows swirled closer, a single thought tumbled through Sarah's mind: all journeying is fraught with sacrifice. But what would they be willing to give? As they stood faced with the intangible danger, a formidable force loomed over them, daring them to reach for it. Driven by an instinct she didn't fully understand, Sarah grabbed both of her friend's hands. "Whatever this is, we face it together. No secrets, no lies." With a shared glance of determination, they took a step forward, into the unknown, tethered by the bond they feared and cherished. As the world spiraled into uncertainty, they approached their fate and wondered what demons awaited them in the depths of the darkness. The world around Sarah, Tom, and Lucy blurred as they pressed deeper into the shadows, hearts racing in tandem. The air crackled, heavy with the weight of unspoken truths. Their resolve solidified, intertwining like vines, as they faced the man whose smile was an invitation wrapped in danger. Victor's eyes sparkled with a dangerous allure. "You chose to confront fear," he said carefully, accentuating each word like a well-rolled ball of yarn in a cat's eager paws. "To understand the secrets lurking beneath your community's surface. But action has consequences." Shivers raced down Sarah's spine. She felt the trembling echoes of uncertainty within her bones. "What do you mean?" Her voice was steady, yet a tremor betrayed her. "Are you a part of this darkness? This game?" Victor tilted his head, amusement dancing in his eyes. "Darkness is simply absence of light," he replied. "I'm not your enemy. I'm the guide to reveal what lies ahead." "Guidance?" Tom spat back, anger bubbling to the surface. "We don't need another puppet master pulling our strings." "Ah, but you do," Victor replied, stepping closer, shadows enveloping him like a cloak. Only through understanding your connection to one another can you hope to emerge unscathed. With his words, a vision coalesced in Sarah's mind, a tapestry woven with threads of their fears and dreams. She felt the heaviness of their past, and in that moment, realized how intertwined their lives truly were. "What do we need to face?" Lucy asked, her brow furrowed, trying to catch every fleeting clue Victor offered. "Your own truths," he replied, looking unflinching. "Face what you truly fear, and emerge on the other side. Together." Tom's expression darkened, a flash of anger bursting forth. "And what if we refuse?" Victor's smile widened. "You will remain in limbo, shackled by your trepidations. Fear shapes your choices, and I will allow the darkness to envelop you until you cannot breathe." The temperature dropped as a bitter wind whipped through the alley, chilling them to their bones. "I can't let fear win," Sarah breathed, determination igniting within her. "We need to understand the truths that bind us." She locked eyes with Tom and Lucy, her energy swirling around them like an embrace, as if igniting kindling that had long been waiting to ignite into a fire. Tom nodded, fists clenched tightly. "What's our first step?" "Break the chains of your past," Victor declared, spreading his arms wide, beckoning them toward the unknown. "Confront that which you wish to hide." With steady breaths, they stepped forward, a unified force against the darkness pressing in on them. Each footfall felt bold, yet with every heartbeat, uncertainty loomed. The world around them began to dissolve, warped by a blinding light, suffused with the hum of energy that pulled at their very essence. For a heartbeat, they felt as if they were standing on the precipice of something vast and beautiful, a void that shimmered with unclaimed possibilities. Suddenly, the light exploded into a million pieces before them, cascading like stars spilling through a night sky. Memories swept over them like waves crashing upon the shore, a montage of laughter, tears, failures, and triumphs. Memories of small-town friendships. The beauty, the heartbreak. "Look!" Lucy gasped, pointing to a glimpse of the past. There they stood, children chasing fireflies under a summer moon. Ghosts of their youth, innocent and untamed. "Sarah, the day you got your heart broken," Tom murmured, and the scene shifted, replacing fireflies with darkness, betrayal unfurling like fog. "You must confront it." With a nod, Sarah stepped forward, enveloped by the memory. Time twisted, and she felt the hurt raw and palpable. She stood at the altar, stunned and abandoned in her wedding dress. This was her fear, hers alone. "Face it!" Victor's voice echoed, a commanding whisper. Sarah steadied her breath, standing firm within the scene. "You don't define me. This is not the end of my story." In that moment, light burst forth warm, golden, illuminating even her darkest moments. She turned to find Tom and Lucy behind her, confronting their own pasts. They appeared unshackled now, unearthed from their storybooks. Tom faced the day he had lost his father, calling out, "I am my own man, and I will not let this define me." Lucy threw her head back as shadows threatening to consume her claimed her senses. "I am worthy of love, no matter what fear says." As each heart proclaimed its truth, the bonds of darkness began to splinter. Radiant light engulfed them, the silhouettes of their fears dissipating like fog before dawn. Stronger now, they intertwined their hands, channeling the brightness between them, fears crumbling under the weight of a unified resolve. Community and belonging resided within their hearts, and hope surged like wildfire. "Remember who you are," Victor's voice softened into the melody of dusk, fading as a warmth replaced the chill. "Your journey is not just about confronting fear but embracing each other." As silence settled around them, their energies intertwined, sealing their destinies. They emerged from the shadows stronger, bonded in this tumultuous world they were determined to change. In the heart of Willow Creek, a new dawn unfurled. Together they took their steps back into the world, whispers of dark energy hovering, but now, with hearts ablaze and passions ignited, they vowed to transform their little town, piece by piece, starting with their own truth. But it took their collective acceptance to rise, and rise they would. Don't let fear steal another moment. Be brave, just like Sarah, Tom, and Lucy. You need to subscribe now to continue this transformative journey. This is the moment to show your support for stories that inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and ensure we keep bringing powerful tales. Comment below with your feelings about the ending. Did it inspire you? And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Stand together, because together we are stronger.